All right, I've been wanting to duplicate or replicate these Gerber yogurt melts just to see if I could do it, because I follow everything on the Facebook groups, and there seems to be a little bit of a problem getting the right texture using Greek yogurt, which is a really good yogurt. So I thought I'd give it a try. So the first thing I did was I went and looked up the ingredients in the Gerbers, and they are cultured reduced fat milk, sugar, strawberry puree, non-fat dry milk, tapioca starch, gelatin, natural strawberry flavor, lactic acid, mono, and a bunch of chemicals after that, vegetables and fruit juice colors, vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin A acetate. So what I noticed when I was doing the research on these yogurt bites or melts is all the brands either use gelatin or they use pectin, and pectin sets up kind of like a gelatin as well. So we started from that thesis that we need to have gelatin. And using Google, I kind of got an idea for a recipe. So we're going to try and work it from this recipe that I got. So first thing we are going to do is we're going to make some strawberry puree. So what I did was I went to the store and I bought sugar added sliced strawberries from the freezer department. And we're going to use that. Now obviously you could use fresh strawberries and then sweeten it with whatever sweetener you want. Like honey would be a good one, or something like that. But for the ease of the recipe, and since it's an unknown, we are going to go with the frozen sliced strawberries. So the first thing I need to do is make a puree out of this. And I got way more than I need here. But let's see what the size of this tub is. 15.5 ounces, which is way more than I'll need, but we're going to use that. So let's get that pureed up and I'll be right back. Alright, a quick whiz in the blender should do it. Now, we are going to strain this to get rid of all the seeds and texture and all that stuff. So it'll be nice and smooth like the Gerber melts. Alright, so that got rid of the bulk of the seeds. A finer mesh strainer would get rid of more. But I got that rid of bulk of them and any pulp that was in there. Now we need 2 cups of Greek yogurt. And it says that the whole milk plain yogurt is the best. Full fat. Alright, that's about 2 cups. We need 1 tablespoon of gelatin powder. And I'm using beef gelatin powder by Sunset. You can use Knox or whatever gelatin you got, unflavored. And we need 1 tablespoon of that. Put that in there. And add 1/4 cup of water to that. Just give that a little stir. And we're going to bloom that gelatin. And we need to let that set for 5 minutes. And that is called blooming it. And once that's done, we'll be right back. But while that's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and add, since I got it here, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we'll just go ahead and add that to our yogurt right there. Okay, while that 5 minutes is finishing off, I'm going to go ahead and transfer my yogurt with the vanilla into a bowl. And we're going to take 1/2 cup of that pureed strawberries and whisk that into that yogurt. This is real easy to make according to the recipe, and at the end of the video we're going to compare our freeze-dried homemade yogurt melts, baby yogurt melts, with the Gerbers. These were on sale today, and you get 1 ounce in this package of freeze-dried yogurt melts from Gerber's for $4. That's the sale price. 1 little ounce. Hardly anything in there. So hopefully we can make it a lot cheaper than that. Alright, that's been about 5 minutes on the blooming. So now we're going to take this over to the microwave, and we're going to microwave that for 15 to 20 seconds, just till that turns to a liquid. We do not want that to boil. Okay, so that is liquefied. That took 20 seconds. Now, the instructions say to take a spoonful of your cold yogurt and mix that in with your dissolved gelatin, because this is warm and it kind of tempers the gelatin. And we're just going to dump that, slowly drizzle this in and mix that in with the yogurt. That's all there is to it. Now, I got these little wafer molds on Amazon, and I bought 4 packets. Each pack came with a little spatula, and you might see this rack here. Well, these are too wide to fit on a Harvest Right tray, so we're going to be using this rack right here to freeze them on, which is why I use this in my freezer all the time. It's made by frozenright.com, and I bought it when I first got my freeze dryer, and I put my trays on this. This sits in my upright freezer perfectly, and then I put 4 trays in that, and it's just a great way for freezing. But since this won't fit on my trays, I had to buy what they call a pizza peel. That's what it is. I was trying to think about a pizza peel that would fit this. Now, I had to do some searching on eBay, because you want this to be able to get inside your tray holder here so that we can put our filled molds in there and then take this out, and so we can transfer that to the freezer. And also this would fit inside your freeze dryer as well, because this is the same size as your freeze dryer. It's a handy little tool. Very, 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 very expensive, but it's the only one I could find that's the perfect size for my trays. So we'll be using that. Oh, we could actually pipe these into the molds, but we ain't going to do that. I am just going to use the handy dandy little tool that they gave me with this. So let's kind of spread it out to where it's getting on the edges here. Alright. Not bad for the first time of using that. Next time I won't put so much on there. Alright, so now we'll take our peel, slide that underneath it like that, then we can transfer it into my rack. Like that. Pretty easy, huh? Alright, so I'm going to do as many more as I can on that. We'll see how much I got. Alright. So I had enough to fill all 4. with just a little bit left over. So what I'm going to do is get these two transferred to the freezer, freeze them overnight, and then we'll pop them out of the molds tomorrow. Wish me luck on this. It's a shot in the dark, but I have high hopes. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, these have been in the freezer overnight, and I also put my empty tray in the freezer overnight so that it's nice and cold. And we're going to pop these out as quickly as we can. They seem to come out really quickly. I'm going to do this in stages. That is to say, I'm going to get this tray, this mold empty, stick the tray back in the freezer, because we don't want these to melt or get soft, because we're going to be just cramming this tray full. So we don't want them to kind of stick together, and that'll help them not stick together if we keep them cold. There you go. That was pretty quick. So we're going to get these back in the freezer, get that nice and cold again, and I'll do the rest of the trays off camera, and I'll be back after that. Okay, here's the last tray, and while I'm taking these out, what I did was I returned these to the freezer for about 10-20 minutes in between molds, just to give that tray time to come back to frozen. Hopefully that's going to help stop these from sticking together, and it seems to be working pretty good so far. When I freeze dry these, if I were concerned about trying to save the good bacteria in them, which I'm not, but a lot of people are, then I would reduce the temperature, freeze drying temperature, to about 90-95 degrees. But since I'm not concerned about the good bacteria, I am going to just run it as a normal load. But just to give you advice that if you would wanted to try and preserve that, then you would want to lower the temperature on your freeze dryer. Alright, did I miss any? Nope, they're all there. Let's spread these out. We'll get these back into the freezer, and they'll be going in my next load. Next time you see them, they'll be coming out. Wish me luck. Okay, here we go. My freeze-dried yogurt melts are done. I ran these at the normal temperature because I had other things in the freeze dryer, so I didn't worry about the, I think it's called probiotics or whatever, but keeping the bacteria alive. And I just ran it with normal long run with my other stuff. So let's get these packaged real quick, and then we'll do a taste test and a comparison to the Gerbers. Okay, got almost 2 jars out of that load. Let's see how many we get out of the Gerbers. And also, for the first time, I'll compare them to see what they look like compared to the Gerbers. Well, the Ziploc didn't work. I mean, the tear-off strip didn't work too well. It don't matter because we're not saving the bag anyway. Okay, theirs are a lot bigger. That's it. That's all you get from that little pouch. So let's take a couple of these out just to compare them. And a couple of these out. And now let's get these stored up. get them vacuum sealed up. Let's do a taste comparison. Well, there's no problem, gonna be no problem doing the size difference on them. So I can tell which is the Gerber's. So let's try a Gerber's one first. See what the texture is and the flavor is. It's good. Very light and melts in your mouth. Now let's try our homemade. Interesting. My homemade has more of a yogurt taste to it. A deeper, that sour taste of yogurt. The Gerber's tasted more sweeter. Like it's got more sugar in it. I didn't add any sugar, but I did use sweetened strawberries. I'd say the Gerber's has a slightly more stronger strawberry flavor, much sweeter, but the homegrown are more yogurt flavor and not as sweet. So there you go. Now, you can see that they break without actually turning to powder, which is good. So that gelatin does make a huge difference. I'd say that my homemade ones have more of a crunch to them too. And the Gerber's are soft and melt in your mouth and have a much stronger strawberry flavor and a much sweeter. So I think I used frozen strawberries and pureed those that were pre-sweetened. If I was looking to get the Gerber's, I think I might be inclined to use fresh strawberries because their strawberry tastes a lot stronger than my strawberry. I noticed that when I was tasting it before I freeze dried it, well, what I had left over, that there wasn't really a really strong strawberry flavor to the plain yogurt before I freeze dried it. And I put that down to the frozen strawberries are kind of watered down, the slices, at least in my opinion they are. Whereas if I had used fresh strawberries and pureed those, it would have been pure strawberries, and then we could have sweetened that up to the liking that we like. So, it being an experiment, I didn't want to go through the expense of buying a whole pint of strawberries and have it not be a success. It was just cheaper to buy the frozen. But I'm happy with these. I like them. The fact that the homemade ones have a more stronger yogurt taste to it. The Gerber's is more like a sweet candy taste to it almost. Yeah, I'm happy with these. $4 Gerber's. And let's see how much it was. I can't remember now. I paid, these are Price Chopper prices. For the Greek yogurt, I paid $6.29. And for the frozen strawberries, I paid $2.99. So $6, $7, $8, $9.28. So just slightly over half double the price of this, and we got almost 4 times the quantity. Probably, if I weighed those, probably weight-wise, we got 4 times, because these are smaller, so they're more compact in the jar. These are bigger, so there's a lot of more air in between the pieces, if that makes sense to you. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you tried this recipe. The gelatin makes all the difference. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.